I've had a lot of free time on my hands lately, so I've been spending some time trying my damnedest to catch up on some anime I haven't been able to watch and kind of just appreciate, where things are right now in regards to anime. One of the ones that's, I don't think it was ever recommended to me, it just kind of popped up around the same time I think like last year or something, was Komi-chan Can't Communicate. Now, before, the way I would watch anime is one of my friends would recommend it to me, or they'd come over, we'd watch it, and we'd critique it and talk about it. And then from there, I'd decide whether or not I wanted to continue watching it on my own. Usually we'd watch a couple episodes together, and then from there, either next time they come over, we watch it again, or we just move on to something else. But in this particular instance, at this point in my life, I tend to watch anime based off of whatever it is that social media recommends, either directly or indirectly. Directly would be like top 10 animes of 2022. Indirectly would be something like just essentially what I call a thirst clip of a specific episode or something. I think a lot of people have been conned into watching Another because of that one scene where they're kind of like joking around in the classroom and no one's reacting. Only to find that it's like a lot darker and it's sure as hell not as carefree as that. And I'm guessing that was kind of the point. They wanted people to get fucked by, checking out this particular thing. I'm sure some people did it with Madoka Magica as well, where they would show a cutesy scene and then people would go watch it and it's like, oh Jesus, what the fuck? I didn't expect that. I think the same can be said with basically any, as I call, like, thirst clip. And what I mean by thirst clips is them showing a character in slow motion with, like, some sort of pop song or anime opening or something cutesy in the background to, like, show, I'm assuming, appreciation for the character. They do a lot of thirst clips from this anime called Akagami Kill. And I can't. I've tried watching Akagami Kill a couple of times. Keep in mind, where I work right now, there's nothing to do. I'm in the middle of nowhere with just street lights, jackrabbits, and once in a while some dogs to keep me company. So there's literally nothing to do except for, look at some anime that I have on my phone or that I downloaded on the tablet and watch it. And even with that, I still don't want to fucking watch Akagami Kill because I just don't understand what's the main purpose of it. Now I understand the plot to some extent, but like, what the fuck does it want me to feel? There's like one episode where basically it goes from somebody dying and that's supposed to be sad, then they just kind of move on, and then you're supposed to be thirsting after this brand new character, and then it goes back to the main character being sad for some fucking reason. Like, I don't understand the point of it. I don't know if maybe it's just not meant for me. I really don't fucking know. But in my opinion, I was conned into watching that fucking anime the same way some people were conned into watching Another because of that silly scene. Now, we move on to the main subject matter of this particular video. Komi-chan Can't Communicate seems to be the peak of where we are in slice of life anime. I'd argue that, for example, interspecies reviewers a few years ago was peak ecchi. That's where ecchi was going, and I'd argue that the same way that BioShock Infinite is like the best version of what System Shock was trying to do. I forget, there's a word for that, but I forget. Spiritual successor, there you go. The same way that BioShock Infinite, or BioShock, the BioShock series, was a spiritual successor to System Shock, I think that World's End Harem is a spiritual successor to whatever it was that Interspecies Reviewers was trying to do. Interspecies Reviewers never apologized for trying to be essentially like a softcore hentai, or a hentai that's like ecchi. There's a lot of implications, but very little actual anything, or whatever. But on some instances, in other instances, it was full out like basically hentai, to the point where it feels right at home on H-anime, or wherever it is you watch those particular, spicy animes. Komi-chan Can't Communicate seems to be like, I don't know if it's a spiritual successor to anything, but it seems to be like the peak of what animes like, what was it called? Akabi Sailor Suit? And other animes like it. I can't really describe it to you, because I've only ever seen one or two. But basically, it's about a main character being extremely antisocial and having a lot of anxiety and being very quirky. Now, some people like that. At the end of the day, if you can find something in this world that can distract you for the overall meaninglessness of life, good for you. I'm not going to shit on you for that. That's good for you. I'm just saying this is how I feel about it, and I was hoping that maybe there was other people who did, but I don't know. Point is, I can't get into Komi-chan Can't Communicate. And the way it was sold to me was, did you know that she acts like a cat? Did you know that there's this one scene where she acts like a cat? Then 5 episodes later, she acts like a cat? Did you know? Now, don't get me wrong, I love cats. I don't own any. I own dogs, but I love cats. Cats just don't like me. But aside from that, I like cats. I like seeing cat videos to help me relax when everything's get really bad and I think that the world is pointless. But I've already seen Nagatoro. I've already seen so many other animes where one of the like gimmicks is that the character acts kind of like a cat. That's just something in the side though for Nagatoro. It's not all the time. In Komi-chan Can't Communicate, that's what, based off of the thirst clips that they show of it and based off of the actual episodes, that's the point. She acts like a cat and she can't communicate and she has difficulty talking to people. Just really think about that shit for a second. Like, maybe it's because I'm getting older, but like, if somebody is at that point of like social anxiety, dude, they need help, like professional help. They really need help. I don't know how things are in Japan, but like, she needs to talk to a counselor or some shit. Like, if you really can't talk in most instances, and the thought of you even being near people to some extent brings you to a point of absolute terror that you can't move, yeah, you need professional help. You need to talk to somebody. Every time I watch it, it's like, she needs professional help. I don't know. My whole point is that I tried watching this anime, I tried getting into it, and I just can't. Like, no. Now, don't misunderstand me. At the end of the day, I understand that there's a lot of animes that are attempting to address the issue of having social anxiety and not being quote-unquote normal. I get that. I wasn't exactly the most normal kid growing up. I'm still not fucking normal, and I think a lot of people got fucked up with 2020. But some animes have done it a bit better. And it could be that, you know, I mean, one of the ones I brought up was Watamote. That's something that, you know, it demonstrates a character that basically is so far gone and just throws herself into video games. But there are other people who kind of help her, but not really, and there's not really a good solution there. Another one would be something like bottom tier character. Bottom tier character is essentially about the same thing. It's about like a dude who just plays video games. That's the only thing he's good at. And through talking to somebody who is very socially apt, he's able to slowly but surely make himself able to talk to people a lot easier. And the same can be said about one of my favorite animes I've been watching lately, which is Horimiya. It's about a character that's always been a loner and never really been one of the cool kids. So through meeting Hori, she's... Oh, damn. I just realized the name. Hori. Anyway, through meeting her, he ends up learning how to take care of himself, and he ends up getting a really good bond. He even ends up making up with some of like the people who used to bully him whenever he was in middle school and stuff like that. It's a really nice story. To me, the dialogue feels very natural. It feels sometimes like it doesn't really make any sense, but sometimes relationships do happen that way, where like you guys just click and you can't really explain why, you just do. So the music is obviously awesome, and anybody who's seen any of the other videos I've done knows that I love music and things. So my point is, there are other animes that do it better. There are other animes that are able to talk about social anxiety and able to talk about, people who are antisocial or just have a very difficult time talking to people without it being a spectacle, per se. And to me, the main thing I don't like about Komi-chan Can't Communicate is they make it a spectacle. Obviously, they're trying to do something most animes don't do, which is that most animes about loners or outcasts tend to be, or people who have social potatoes, people who have social anxiety. Usually it's from the perspective of a male character, and they treat the male character like trash the entire time. Most animes that end up being harem animes or just regular ass animes have at least one character that's constantly being bullied, and no one seems to give a fuck until suddenly the story demands that they give a fuck about it. So I guess they do take a different approach to it, where rather than everybody thinking that they're a fuck up and they're trash and they deserve to be fucking killed and all this other shit, they think she's awesome. They don't know shit about her, mind you. They just think that she's awesome. So I guess maybe in some ways that's cute and everything. It's just that rather than addressing like what that can feel like to somebody, they just kind of make a spectacle of that person reacting and kind of freaking the fuck out whenever it is that their quote-unquote friends keep making them do something that absolutely terrifies them, if that makes any sense. Which is why I said that they need professional help, and I don't know how she would be able to get it, but it's because I can't overlook that. It's because I've had similar experiences on occasion that I really can't appreciate it. So, I don't know. It's just not for me. Then again, that's kind of the state of anime. Either you watch harem anime, which usually blends with ecchi anime, so basically porn at this point, or hentai, or you watch things about socially awkward characters. I know there's other things like how a realistic hero would rebuild the world or something like that. Like, I know that exists. And I know that there's still obviously a huge catalog on, Crunchyroll and Hulu and Prime and all this other stuff. And obviously, other sites we don't talk about. There's a huge catalog of anime you can get in various ways and watch, for sure. It's just that, I'm just talking about what's going on around right now, and based off of how it is that I watch anime, my opinion on it. Hence, the title, the absolute state of anime. But I'm sure people will disagree, and if you can enjoy at least one from this season, more power to you, dude. But either way, thanks for listening to me ramble.